Hello and welcome to another lesson. Today I'm going to help you Hendrixify your guitar playing with 5 techniques that Hendrix used a lot. 5 techniques that just sound so Hendrix because he really made them his own. I'm going to show you double stops, bends. I'm going to look at the pentatonic scale, how we used it, and in particular by moving just up and down on one string. Don't get scared, I'm going to go to the Dorian mode and show you how we used that, and in particular loved, for example, the 6th note. Finally I'm going to look at octaves. To begin with, we'll look at the double stops, because that technique is something which if I hear it I just think of Jimmy, because it's so iconically him and he made it his own. Okay, all of these techniques, by the way, I put in that example I played at the start. I've made a tablature for it and you can download that from my Buy Me a Coffee page. There's a link in the description. Okay, double stops. Again, in that example at the start, I did this. These are double stops, so that's a double stop. A double stop is essentially when you play 2 notes at the same time, and in this case I start off playing 3rd fret B string and 3rd fret E string, and then I hammer on the B string to the 5th fret, but I keep that E string ringing. And you get that beautiful sound. Okay, then I go back down again. And then I came here, where it's the 2nd fret G string, 3rd fret B string, and I did. In this case I hammer on and then pull off straight away. Finishing on this G note, 5th fret D string. Okay, so slow. Again. And then I came up to the A minor. Another double stop. Into the E minor. That double stop on the A minor, I'm playing the G string and the B string on the 5th fret, and I hammer the G string up to the 7th fret. And then I do a little, same as this one, hammer on, pull off, I do it here. Okay? These are double stops, it sounds so Jimmy. You can incorporate them in your own playing, because there's, in the pentatonic scale, there's some really nice places to find them. These ones, this is from pattern 1 of the pentatonic scale, so if you don't know that, it goes from the E string, 3rd, 5th, A, 2nd, 5th, D string, 2nd, 5th, G string, 2nd, 4th, B string, 3rd, 5th, E string, 3rd, 5th, okay? That is the pattern 1 of the G pentatonic scale, and it goes, and that's 2 nice double stops you can get from that pattern. But there's also others. For example, one really nice one to use is the 5th pattern. So there will be this one. Let's do it up on the up at the 12th fret. So you might know this from the classic blues. It would be also the E blues pentatonic scale, this one, where it goes 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 15, 12, 15. It's the classic blues box that we all learn, where it's like that one. classic. We all learned that, probably the first one. But the E minor one is also the G major one. And within that box, you've got the A string, which goes 12 to 14, the D string, which goes 12 to 14, and the G string that goes 12 to 14, right? Now, like on this A minor one, which we learned before, if you take the G string and B string and hammer the G string up to the 14th fret, and then pull off, and then do the same shape but moving up strings. So now we do the D string and the G string, and then now the A string and D string, and take it to the G chord, you go, or however you want to embellish it. But it's just a cool way of getting those double stops and joining them to a chord. Now, you can also say you want to take a chord and go to another chord, so G, let's say to C, let's say we go, we could do something like this. For example, that's really nice. You're getting these nice little double stops that are connecting the chords, and it takes you from being, let's say, a rhythm guitarist or a lead guitarist, and you're kind of creating an in-between, because you're getting a very full sound that contains both lead and rhythm. And double stops are a great way of doing that. So let's move on, okay? Double stops, tick. You can get them from your pentatonic scale, play around with them, and see what you can do. Join chords together, try and link chords together, get a progression, and try and link all the chords with double stops using the pentatonic scale, and I think you're going to start sounding Hendrixy in no time. Okay, the next one I used, bends. Now, Hendrix used lots of different types of bends. Unison bends, which I showed on the intro, is a very Hendrixy bend, and you can take that bend. Well, in this case, I'm playing the first finger on the 12th fret and the third finger on the 14th fret. 12th fret B string, 14th fret G string, and I bend that 14th fret up to the note on this 16th fret, which is the same note. That's why it's called unison. So I'm bending it up to the same note, so you get the same note twice. Okay, and you can take it down you can take that bend down the scale, for example, and it sounds cool. He loved unison, Hendrix also did unison like this, where he'd play the 5th fret of the B string, which is an E note, while that E note's ringing. And it's very bluesy, and Hendrix was a great blues player. So that's the first one, and the second one, it's a bit more tricky, is this bend up, pre-bend down. Which you hear Hendrix do, well, for example, on Who Knows, which is from the band of Gypsies. You'll hear it on that recording, so I would recommend checking that out. But it's cool. He bends up, so in this case I'm bending from the 15th fret up to the 17th on the B string. But while I'm up there, I've already bended this G string up as well. So I just grab it with this other finger and bring it down. It's a pre-bend because you don't hear that one go up. You just hear it come down. You hear this one go up and this one come down. And it's a really cool Hendrix technique that it's a bit tricky, but I would recommend you give it a shot. Very, very cool. Okay, moving on. So the next technique I wanted to show you is the single string pentatonic playing. It's really, really nice, this technique, and in the case of that intro example, I did it over an A chord, and I did like this kind of thing. Actually, that little hammer-on pull-off is kind of the same as the, Hendrix does it a lot, you can do it in all sorts of contexts. You can go, He does that kind of thing a lot, you know, the hammer-on pull-off. And in this one, it sounds really cool because I'm doing the, like, then I'm just doing like, I'm basically, you know, if I can break this down, what I'm doing is I'm taking a scale and I'm just running up and down it on one string, and he does things like sliding, going up, also like in closures as well, like if this is the target note and I go, so I go up, and then the one below it, and then come back up, or I'll do things like go down, I'll then just come back up, so I'm just sliding in between the notes on one string, A major pentatonic over A major, and he really loved to emphasize, for example, the sixth note, and you know, it's like there's a song called "May This Be Love," and or "Waterfall," some people call it. It's actually called "May This Be Love," but he actually has that on there where he's hitting that sixth note. It's just beautiful. Just moving up and down that string with the A major pentatonic over A, just like this, sliding up and then down, and you get that wonderful kind of, let's call it the dreamy Hendrix. Okay, so that's another technique I wanted to show you, which I put in that intro riff. The next one I did was the octaves. There's a part where it goes to the D, and I'm like, now, do you recognize that? That's Third Stone from the Sun. That's a really cool Hendrix tune, and he plays like that. You know, again, really iconically Hendrix. Just moving up and down that pentatonic scale. And again, it's kind of like the riff I showed you before in A on which I was doing on the G string. It's kind of the same. Just moving. Moving down and up. You can also do enclosures with this. So, for example, if that's the target octave, I can go up the one above, and then I can go down. So, and come back to the D, you know. And it's really cool because I don't know, it's just very Hendrix. It sounds so Hendrix the way he used those octaves. It was so beautiful. And look, the final thing I wanted to talk about was his use of the Dorian scale. Well, the Dorian mode. Because the Dorian mode contains, well, first of all, if you don't know what the Dorian mode is, it's the second position of a major scale. So if you play, for example, in this case it'll be, I was using it on B, so let's play the A major scale. Now, the A major scale contains modes, okay, and the second position of the A major scale, the second note, is this B, okay. Now, if you play the major scale, the A major scale, but go B to B, that is the B Dorian mode, okay, and that can be played over a B minor 7, for example. Now, Hendrix loved to use this because he really loved, I think, that sixth note, okay? He really loved that note, and it appears in this Dorian scale. So, and it's really kind of, when I hear this, I think of Hendrix and how it's kind of his, you know, out there, more like exotic sound or something. You can hear it really good in Purple Haze, for example. Now, Purple Haze actually has these chords. Now, if he played, and when he's playing, you would, over those chords, you might play classic kind of pentatonic stuff, but in the solo, he goes to the Dorian mode, right? But it's not really going to work over those chords because, like we learned just before, B Dorian comes from the A major scale, okay? So B Dorian, down 2 frets to get to A. So if we want to learn E Dorian, we can do the same thing. E, down 2 frets, it's D, right? So it would be logical then that chords in the key of D would work if we want to play E Dorian. So in that solo, actually, for the most part of the song, the bass player is like, probably not that rhythm, but he's playing like E, G and A, okay? Because that's the chords of Purple Haze. But when the solo comes, he suddenly starts going, he changes, okay? Now to me, that is suggesting E minor, F sharp minor and D, which are all in the key of D, okay? Which means that, and then he's a, it means that Dorian sound is going to work. So I think that Jimi Hendrix, you know, it's some people say whether or not he was like a theory guy, but in Purple Haze you can really see he wanted to play Dorian, and he actually changed the chords, you know, to chords that work with Dorian. So if it was subconscious or if it was because of a theoretical knowledge that he had, who knows, but definitely he was feeling that Dorian sound, in particular this 6th note, okay, which you hear a lot in Hendrix. Just nearly knocked over my alien. But yeah, you hear this a lot in Hendrix because he loves the 6th. I even showed you it before when we were doing over the A major. That was also the 6th. So he's a big fan of the 6th. Yeah, so if you want to experiment with Dorian, I would recommend it. And it's really cool because if you're like hanging out on the like he would, like on this pentatonic, and then you suddenly go, you can really go in and you can go out of the box just by playing the pentatonic and then moving into the Dorian. And I think that Jimi Hendrix really enjoyed using the Dorian for that purpose. When he wanted to take it a bit out and get a bit more exotic, it was a perfect tool to do that with. Okay, I want to keep this lesson not too long, but I've gone through all of the techniques. You've got the intro, this piece that I put together at the start. Like I said earlier, it's available for download. Just click the link in the description. It's from my Buy Me a Coffee page. On that page you can donate if you wish some money, or you can just download it for free. Like I always say, if you download it for free, or if you pay, whatever, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share, you know, hit the bell notification, whatever the hell that is. Just do all that stuff for me and that would be cool. Yeah, I think if you learn that piece, you've got a bunch of techniques there. You've got these wonderful double stops, Hendrix's kind of soul-y Motown side. You've got the bends, which are really hitting those bluesy vibes that he loved to do. You've got those wonderful pentatonics on the 1 string, which is the kind of like the dreamy Hendrix, and also the octaves, and then you've got the kind of exotic Dorian Hendrix, you know, and you can get a few of those Hendrix flavors with these techniques. So I really hope you enjoy Hendrixifying your playing with these techniques. Thank you very, very much for watching, yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.